And here we are. Nice intimate session today. Not too many people on live because it's a bit of a impromptu one, but it's good. It's good. We'll do a little market update. Feel free, if you're tuning in live, obviously, ask questions in the chat. And if you're listening to the recording, make sure to let me know in the comments on YouTube. Without any further ado, let's have a little look at the market. What is happening? So dollar, nothing new. We're dropping. We've predicted this move quite a bit now. So I'm forecasting potentially some sort of move into the 786, A6 area, retracement for another sell on the down low. But we'll play by ear once we drop a little bit more. But I wanted to take a look at a macro perspective. So I know that today, usually we look at macro coming into the weekend and what we can expect. So starting from Bitcoin dominance, which is something that, of course, we've been wanting to drop for quite some time. But the reality is, when we look at macro higher time frame, you can see I've highlighted that candle there. That is a typical buy to sell move, but we've barely traded into it. You can see here we've obviously just wicked into it, whereas in reality there's probably a fair bit more that we want to come and mitigate into that level there. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin dominance keep effectively pushing up until probably about 50% of that monthly candle, around 68%. And then we finally see dropping and making lower highs and lower lows, and it is at a level now which is unknowingly high still, and it's taking a long time to do this move. And you can see when it does drop, however, the drop can be quite sudden. So when it comes to the dominance, it takes a bit of time to build that kind of scale back up, and then drops quite drastically. So hopefully, in the next couple of months, which will be obviously a couple of candles here, we should be seeing it push it into that 60, high 60, low 70s even. I don't think we're going to get to the 70 personally. I think maybe high 60s will be the target, which would coincide perfectly with the thesis that we've discussed previously, and I'll run through again later on. We can have a look. But this is kind of what I'm expecting here on Bitcoin dominance. Bit more pain, unfortunately, for alts. That means, of course, the higher the dominance, the more suppressed, or I guess less money is in altcoin. But for now, let's have a look at the total. So total, this is obviously all money flowing into crypto, and I have a bit of an Elliott wave structure that I wanted to run through and show. We can see obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which forms leg 1. This is a macro 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I'm looking at. And the reason why I haven't stopped the fifth leg here, is because if you look at a lower time frame, you can see that this kind of, and this is on a daily now, this likely is leg 1 with a leg 3 effectively, which is always the longest, or almost always the longest. Leg 4 isn't invalidated yet because we haven't tapped into leg 1 just yet. So we are still in a potentially uptrend for total, which will be nice, indicating potentially at a macro level that this could have been the bottom of this retracement. Because if this thesis is right, and if we don't dip below this level, effectively invalidating this Elliott wave and coming into leg 1, then it means that we are ready to push for the fifth final leg on the lower time frame, which would also coincide with the fifth and final leg of the macro time frame. So what we need to do now is just pay real close attention to this level. You can see we're very low, very close. If we start tapping and closing below, unfortunately this Elliott wave is invalidated, but there is still a little bit of hope. We just need to make sure that we don't go below this area on total. So eyes peeled on total for me. This is a really good indicator as to what the overall market will do, because this is obviously the crypto total market. Okay, so this is a macro chart that everyone should have on their alerts, and as well as on the watch list. So here's a chart that I don't show often, and this is the BLX, which is the Bitcoin Liquidity Index. So this is a chart that I've been marking on for at least 3 years now, and what I've done, I've basically broken down all cycles from the very beginning of Bitcoin all the way to where we are now. And all it is basically, you can see the red periods were the bear markets, followed by the gray boxes, which was the consolidation, followed by an expansion period, which is the green box, and the purple period was the last bit of consolidation before the bull market begins. So from the very beginning, what I've done, I've basically highlighted fib extensions of the bear market. So from the high to the low, or I should say from the low to the high, and giving us extensions. And without fail, something that it's really important to notice is how Fibonacci extensions of the 1618, specifically the 2618 and the 3618, have been respected throughout all cycles. So from the very beginning, the 1618 level became then the, I know that now we're going back in time a fair bit, but the 1618 level became the base of the next cycle. Similarly, the 1618 again became the base of the next cycle, and the 3618 became the top. And that same level then provided us obviously now with a base where we are now. So why is it important? And please do let me know if this is not making any sense, but you can see here all the extensions are based on the low to the high of the bear markets. Okay, so these levels have without fail provided us a base. You can see extension here goes all the way and becomes the base of the next cycle. This extension, which is obviously now the 3618, is likely going to become the base of our next bear market when we get down there. So I have this fractal. You can see this is just a ghost feed, but meaning that I've done basically, I've taken this price action and apply it to here. This price action would eventually coincide not only with the 3618 extension, which we just talked about, which gives us a base of around 64,000. Mind you that 68 was the previous stop, so perfect little area here to become a base on the bear cycle. But it would also give us a bit of an idea as to where we are now. Personally, I think we are in this phase, and I know it's been talked about. I've shared it extensively on X, and the reason is the price action is very similar. You can see if we manage to stall here where we are for the same, which is about 90 days, about 3 months, 2 to 3 months, we will see potentially another rally up in price. And if the price action is obviously similar, that would push us around the 120, 130, with potentially a 2618 extension going into the 150. Now, this, in my opinion, is the next cycle, and you can see this is on a weekly, so this will coincide with June 2028. So we're talking 3 years from now. But this kind of level right now is absolutely doable, in my opinion, indicating that this could potentially be the bottom. I don't personally believe or bite into the thesis that this is the start of the bear market and we're going to go down. I don't think that is the case. I do think we still have some upside, and the prices that we're seeing today could give us some really good entry in the next 2 to 3 months, effectively until you can see 3618, and this down here, just so that you know, these are time fibs, so you can do Fibonacci on time base as well. The 3618 will coincide again in June, giving us one more confirmation and one more piece of effectively confluence that we can look at, that this could potentially be the top of this cycle. I have everything that I've been looking at personally pointing towards June to July. early June to start of July. So that month, I will start as soon as we basically tap into obviously all-time high. I will start scaling out quite aggressively. I want to be out around 80% once it comes to here, but I'll be scaling out possibly little by little as we go up as well. So all this to say, it's not over yet, this cycle. We still have at least a few months ahead, but if you can, now is the time to really deploy any I guess dry powder, cash, whatever you want to call it. Invest into those projects that you either had at high entry and you want to bring your DCA down. Obviously, if your entry was here and now the prices are here, that means that your average will be right in the middle. So you can bring those that cost basis down for projects that you've entered maybe a little at a high, at a premium, or you can decide to put new money. Speaking of, when it comes to putting new money in the market at this stage of the cycle, obviously we're not done here. This would have been a great area to put money into the market. We are nearing the top, so we still have another 40 to 50% move potentially, which is this move. I am leaning towards being a little bit on the cautionary side, and personally, I'm not going to invest any more into any of the lower cap or even mid cap, to be honest. I will be focusing new money into the market into higher cap projects. But let's have a quick look talking about alt to ETH and BTC. Now, this is a chart that I've had marked up. Again, you can go back onto my channel and see. This is a bat pattern. You can see we've retraced just under the 60%, so 58.7% of this M move, and we are now at a critical level, right? You can see low to high. We are at the AA6 precisely as we speak. So bat patterns, if you watch or rewatch my video that we shared a little while ago in terms of harmonics, can and sometimes do go and test the 1 and even go a little bit further sometimes and wick. They don't close, but they tend to wick. So this kind of price action would not surprise me, where we can see a little bit more downside for ETH, which in result means a little bit more downside for all alts, because there is not going to be a altcoin rally without ETH winning. Doesn't matter if you're a Solana believer or XRP believer, we need ETH to come out of this kind of range. Okay, so but once again, we've got another confirmation. If there is a bit more downside for ETH, that obviously will give effectively Bitcoin dominance a bit more time to go up, and then we can see the push happening. So this is kind of what I'm leaning towards. I'm leaning towards this harmonic effectively pushing potentially a little bit lower into the 1s, which happens with bat patterns. I don't see it going into a crab, because that will be absolutely catastrophic, and that's just not going to happen. But I do believe we will see that yes, that one level there. So keep an eye out from here effectively in the next couple of months what we can see. This is on a weekly, mind you, so something like this May, and then comes July, we can start to see some price action reversing back up. So macro perspective, a little bit more pain unfortunately for alts. Bitcoin dominance potentially pushing up into that mid 60s, and yeah, and Bitcoin Liquidity Index giving us some really nice levels here. You can see on time frame base of potentially June as our top. So this is kind of my macro that I'm looking at for the market, and you can see on Bitcoin chart I've done the same. I've shared this the other day. I've got this shift channels here. You can see green and red, which have basically haven't failed since since April 2019, and we are now in this area here, into this fractal, which we just discussed is the same price action. So many confluences for me that I'm looking at, that we will potentially stall here for a couple of months or at least a few weeks to then potentially do that last leg up before we reverse once we hit this channel, which once again will see us potentially around the 120. So am I looking at any trades at the moment? The only thing that I'm looking at with Bitcoin is this. I don't know, we shared it the other day. This was the first level of liquidity that we just entered. Now we had a little bit of a reaction. I wouldn't like to buy from here. My ideal scenario is tapping this 1 hour candle, which took downside liquidity. So if we do see another push down on BTC, I will call it out and we can do a long from this 1 hour candle. So the trade will look something like this, and we would do a fairly tight stop loss and the TP just on this the upside liquidity. You can see this will be the first level of liquidity, and this candle will be my target potentially for a reversal. So the TP on the long could potentially, once we get up to here, eventuate all the way to this candle, giving us a almost 1 to 4.5. Once we get to this level up here, I will be looking for another sell on the push down and potentially catch a sell to buy move. So nothing yet at this stage, but wait for effectively a little bit more downside liquidity. Let us take this wick down. I expect a fairly quick move. Then I want to see some sort of higher high be made on lower time frame, and we can enter, of course, on the retest of that. So this is what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. And similarly for ETH, ETH is obviously the ugliest looking out of all. We know that the price action is absolutely horrible. I've got this daily candle up here that is my target again for a short once we get eventually up here, but we don't really have a clear reversal area for ETH just yet. We are entering this really important weekly area of liquidity. There's a lot of action, price action here. This order block is chock full of price action. So we'll see likely some chop around the 1600. And this is a really good DCA zone for me personally. We were talking about just earlier how if I am to deploying some new money into the market, I'm going to go for obviously more stable projects, and ETH is definitely one of them. So once we reach, and I do believe we will, 1600, around those levels, between 1600 and 1400 potentially even, that's when I will personally be buying ETH again, which I haven't done since 2022, so a couple of years. But we will see an all-time high again. When, we don't know. Might be this cycle, might be the next. So buying at $1,500 for, you know, almost a 5K. It's a nice little return on something that I can sleep at night knowing that the chain is not going to zero. There's so much money involved in there. So that's going to be a safer play, right? And Solana, of course, is now approaching this equal lows. You can see up here, and I want to see it taken out before moving up. Until that happens, I am reluctant on doing any play on Sol. You can see there is still indecision in the market across all different assets, not just stocks, but you can see here, this is Max Cargo. Okay, you can see here there's still downside pressure. I want to see this liquidity taken out. I will not buy anything, and my main target for Sol, for portfolio anyway, or even for leverage most likely, is roughly between the 80 in this price block here. So 80 to 100. Once I see price action slowing down into this level and then slowly making up, obviously in lower time frame, creating higher highs, that's when I'll be deploying, and I'll be calling some leverage longs. Until then, I don't want to try to long a falling knife, because this is what it is, and there is just too much liquidity being taken out, ready to be taken out on the downside. So I'm staying away from Sol at the moment for leverage.
And XRP is not too dissimilar. Obviously, this was a week that took all this major liquidity. We keep wicking down. Nothing new for XRP. XRP loves to grab and go for a liquidity hunt. The 1 hour chart that I put on my channel, this was the trade that I was looking at purely based, and I broke it down last time on our last live, why we took out this 1 hour as a key level. It's the 1 hour candle that took out all this liquidity before. But we haven't got there. We haven't got there. Obviously, price is now slowing down, and all it's doing is really creating liquidity there. So I'm ready. I'm prepared. I've got my order set, limit order there for this 1 hour candle with a very tight stop loss there. So, and you can see it falls on the 786 area, which is obviously our favorite area. So I do believe this trade will eventually activate. You can see now we're doing this kind of curved liquidity, and I think we will wick very quickly into that area, and we might not get maybe this candle, but I think we're definitely gonna see this week's been touched. So this is for leverage on the main fours, and now I'm just gonna cruise through a couple of portfolio plays which I think in this current market are absolutely worth having a bit of a look. So Tau, BitTensor, of course. Well, we have talked about it. Sorry, I'm talking about Tau, not Render. Massive run on this previous cycle. You can see it went from 166 to 700, and so almost a 7x there, and now we've retraced all that move back into the 786 area. At these prices and even a bit below, I wouldn't be surprised if we do end up taking this liquidity, which you can see spans all the way here. If we start wicking below the 200s, this will be an absolute cracking entry on Tau, in my opinion, to push us back to all-time highs potentially. But even like a 5, a 6, and then a 700, you're still looking at a very considerable gains, 4, 5, 6x's from this previous, from the lows that we could potentially be making down here. Okay, so definitely put Tau on your list. Obviously, it's an AI project, one of the best ones at that. Tokenomics are really good. We're looking at obviously 21 million, like we all know. It's the same as Bitcoin. It is a proof of work, which I think is going to come back in narrative quite a lot eventually. And it's got about 1/3, just over 1/3 of the supply already in. So 24-hour trading volume is 109 million, so definitely a ton of volume there, and the market cap is at 2 billion. So I do see a lot of upside for Tau, for this project. They're building constantly. There's a lot of support from I guess all holders are really quite passionate about the project, combining AI and blockchain as well as proof of work. So definitely I recommend, if you don't have any AI exposure, either to look at Tau or Render, which is the next one here. Obviously Render now on Solana, whereas Tau you have to store it either on a centralized exchange or you can actually put it on your ledger now. Whereas Render is a Sol project. They migrated to Sol last year, and we have finally mitigated a very key level which we were talking about with Maxo. You can see this big fair value gap, which is basically just an imbalance right here, after this big push up on the daily left a big imbalance, and we are now finally wicking into it. And obviously I drew this squiggle, what was that, on end of Feb, and so far we have now tapped that level beautifully. I do expect some reversal soon, potentially a bit more chop here, but the good news is we definitely have, and make it a little bit bigger, we definitely have taken all this liquidity here, and we are ready potentially to start making some all new highs. And again, if you don't have any AI exposure, Tau is a great Render is a great project. We are looking at an entry sub 3 if you wait for pullback, or even now we're at 2.9, so we are still in the sub $3 if render goes for another run, which I personally very much believe it will. You're looking at least, at the very least, into this kind of candle here, so into the $9. That's a 3x from lows. So from here to here, it's a 3x. And if you're gonna look at new all-time highs, potentially taking out this equal, that's a 4x. Actually, yeah, so 4x. So this kind of pullbacks are an absolute blessing if you have obviously dry powder and means to invest. I think the move that is going to push us up there is going to be quite sudden. You can see this entire move took from November until early December, so 1 month. That's all it took for this. Okay, these moves up are explosive. So this one was from January to mid-March, so 2.5 months, which, as we know, if we are going to start move, that will take us potentially until, you know, like I said, May, June, something like this, May, June, July, and then obviously we can see another push down for the bear. But AI projects definitely are not done. I think more so than chasing the latest shiny AI agent, which is a narrative that I don't think it's dead by all means, but I do think real world projects that are effectively have a backing of multi-million-dollar companies like Render has a ton of partnership, and so does Tau. These are projects that I would rather invest in now at this level rather than be more speculative. And let's talk quickly about DeFi. We've got Jupiter and Uni. Obviously, one is on Solana, biggest protocol on Solana in terms of DeFi. Great level here, ton of FUD at the moment. We're on a daily here. You can see we've tapped this level of liquidity. We've taken it out, and I think this is the bottom. Look, maybe not quite the bottom. We could be pushing down into the 40s. And Render, is that what you? Yes, Render is a buy now. Yeah, I would definitely DCA. You can see this was my DCA zone here, and we are well and truly at the very bottom of the range. And this is for portfolio, mind you, not for leverage. Mind you, we could push down into the low twos or even $2, but if you're looking at, you know, the long term, what is the difference between entering at $2 and $3 if we're gonna go down to 12? You know, I'd rather start my DCA, you know, if I've got $500 to invest, you know, put 250 here and 250 here. So you do 2 entry, you split entry, every 50 cents you invest a little bit more, and that way you've got a good DCA, and if it does reverse straight away, at least you've got an entry. Going back to Jupiter, I do believe this is the bottom for Jupiter. We have obviously taken massive liquidity in this latest move. We could potentially go back and retest the 40 cents, so that's another 10 cents drop. But similar to what I just discussed with Renter, if you do want to have exposure to DeFi on Sol, very good level here to buy. You know, you can, like, say you've got, again, $500. So I'm using that just as an example. You can deploy 250 here at 50 cents, and then if you want another 250 when it reaches perhaps the 45 cents. And then if it does go to 40, we'll find some more, because I think the upside is definitely has got a lot more upside than downside. You know, very little downside for a lot more upside. My target for Jupiter is definitely this candle, as some take a profit back into where we were, but really my big target is going to be on a fib extension. So we're looking at $2.80, and then potentially the 2618 for past the $4. Might not be this cycle, but these are my long-term effectively take profits for Jupiter. So you can see an entry at 50 cents. When it goes to $4, it's not a bad entry, you know, 8x. So yeah, do what you want with this information. Uniswap is technically still not invalidated on our long. We did call out this long, so you can see it went very close to being stopped out. But if you are still in Uni, you are a little bit in drawdown here, similar to what we discussed with Jupiter. I do think this is the bottom. We do have, unfortunately, and I say unfortunately because we know that once we form these equal lows, they generally tend to be taken out. So I do expect Uni to go a little bit lower from here before reversing back up. But it is an AA6 key level of the whole move, of course. And now we just got to see, once we start seeing some sort of higher highs on lower time frame, we can then obviously re-enter on the retest of that. So this is something that personally for portfolio, I think it's also at a great level to buy. Do I only trade higher time frame? No, I don't only trade higher time frame, but to give you a percentage, I trade 95% on higher time frame. I'm more of an investor than I am a trader or a scalper. Definitely not a scalper. 15 minutes, not for me. I did, however, just start a challenge now you saw with Max Algo. So that's going to be a bit of fun challenge there. 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, but only on 2 assets. But majority of my trades got over for months. I do like to catch these type of moves. And if you do catch, you know, some sort of leverage long here, and like imagine opening a long here and having it open for say September to December, 3 months. Sure, you have to have patience. Like it's not easy to hold, right? But the gains are also pretty damn good. So that's a style of trade that I do. I tend to hold my positions for quite some times, and also when it comes to spot, obviously I sleep at night knowing that we can go up higher. So Uniswap, yep, great level now for portfolio. This is a good entry in my opinion. Sub 6, potentially we could see in even a $4. I know that you can see here we've got this big monthly liquidity down here, but I don't think we're gonna get there personally. I think we are gonna get some sort of reversal from here potentially once we clear these lows. So Uni and Jupiter both, they look pretty bottom out to me, or very close to the bottom, and that's a good levels now, effectively. Okay. And last for today that I wanted to show you is Casper, which is a project I do believe quite a lot in. Of course, Casper, great tokenomics. Once again, proof of work. There's a ton of good news in terms of Casper. Who's behind there? Go and have a look. Who the founder is, about Ghost. Have a little read about Ghost Protocol and all those things. 28 million, of course, token. So 28 billion tokens. Almost all of them are in circulation. Okay, you can see trading volume is 62 mil, so there's still a fair bit of volume going through Casper at the moment. And yeah, Elliott waves, obviously going back from ages ago now, we have completed a five wave cycle. We have done an ABC correction, I think. We've done another micro 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we've completed again. I think we are in the 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the 5 that we are looking at. So I call this, and I've called this already, as the bottom. The bottom for Casper for me was that AA6 level, which I know some of you guys managed to snag at 5 cents, and we're already at 7 cents. So that's already up a nice bunch. So Casper, from this moment on, any pullback it gets, and if it does get a pullback, it's great for portfolio. I'm buying for portfolio on every pullback. So if we go back into this candle, I'm going to buy more, and so forth. So this is a good level to bring down your DCA on Casper. Some of my entries were a little bit higher, so these are opportunities for me to lower my cost basis on Casper. But again, this project I don't think is going to go anywhere. I think in 3 to 5 years this is going to be a lot higher, definitely on new all-time highs. Again, if I look at, this is a simple, so if I go from the low to the high, so even just from this cycle low, just without having to go the whole low. Oh, this is this is a good structural high there. My targets for CASP will probably be around the 50 cents, so it's a little bit earlier than the 1618. I don't like to do that because obviously everyone is looking at extension. So 50 cents or even 49 cents for CASP will be my my exit one, and then obviously you can go up higher if you want and go into the 70 cents. But we are looking at obviously down the line, not now, but this, you can see how these levels right now, DCA zones, are so powerful for where we are currently versus where we're going. NRB or DRB, sorry. Don't know it. Do I know it? I don't think I've. Let's have a quick look. See. DRB USD. We're talking about this one. Is this? I don't know anything about this project, so let me. I have no idea what it is, what it does. DRB Debt Relief Bot. What is this? It's Grok generated token, as in like Grok. Since when does Grok does token too? 100 mils. Okay, so it's a shitcoin. Oh, it's a meme. Nah. I honestly, look. Obviously, price action is. You can see. This where does the end? I would stay away from any meme coins personally at the moment. Like definitely new ones, but obviously if you're a gambler, you know, may as well go to the casino, and that's fine. Personally, I don't think now is the time to be speculative with your money, and there's other plays where monies are better spent. This thing could just keep falling. There's no bottom. We're in price discovery here, so I'm with, no memes, just just 400 front. No, I definitely don't recommend doing 400x leverage. But look, even other meme coins like, you know, WIF and all the big ones, SHIB and all, like I would rather just be a bit more conservative at the moment. So that's just my 2 cents. Of course, this is money, do what you want. But yeah, cool. Just a quick overlook on the market and where we at. So yeah, to sum it up, we'll just have to see what obviously BTC Dominant does really, and I do believe we'll push back into this candle, into this monthly candle. We are close. We've still got another 18 days into this monthly candle, so I do see a bit more up here. So no worries, no worries. Any questions in the chat? I'll hang up for about a minute, and then I'll let you guys lower on BTC to bottom of range or squeeze of BTCD before a final push into July. Yes, the gist is, personally, I do believe we will see another up leg for Bitcoin dominance, which obviously means another lower leg for altcoins. Once we reach that mid 60s, which is about 50% of that monthly candle that we're looking at here for Bitcoin dominance, we will see some sort of price action again reversing. But it is important to notice as well, on the total, we are looking at this level closely. Hopefully it doesn't invalidate that level and we don't start closing below. So a bit of chop. I think that's what we'll see, this kind of price action on you can see here on this fractal. So same fractal as here. I think we'll see another few weeks of chop into this range in between these two channels that I've got marked up here. So that's my educated guess. Lots of indicators, not indicators per se, but lots of things pointing to that, to this kind of price action potentially developing before exiting this range and going into that resistance channel. Cool. So you could short low leverage alts at the moment. Yeah, you could. You could. This I'd rather see, like something like Tower. Sure, if you'll come back into this weekly candle, do a push short from there before we move higher, you could. But at the moment, I think leverage is just over risky. The sentiment is not clear. there's a lot of uncertainty on in the market, and it's not just crypto. Like if you look at the VIX, which is obviously the volatile index, VIX there. Volatile index. This is an index that measures volatility in the markets, right? This is the S&P 500 index, and basically the higher it spikes, the more volatile the market is. And we haven't spiked this high from before the election, and this was obviously, you can see in COVID we were here. Like obviously this was COVID, crazy. This I can't remember what it was. I think it was some sort of the war or something like that starting, and now we are starting to be a really crazy volatility again. Like past 25% is considered super high volatility, and we are in a very volatile market. So very risky to take any position on stocks. You know, I do have some stocks. We talked about it on my last live, but I'm looking at plays. You know, Tesla potentially was a reversal there, but called it. There you go. It's already reversing. PayPal definitely is coming into my area of buying. Coinbase again into my area of buy, but nothing stops stocks from falling further at the moment. So what plays? You're gonna have to go and check out the last recording that I did. I've gone through all the stocks pretty much. It was only stocks and forex on my last recording. So I broke down pretty much all this: Coke, Google, VST, Coinbase, PayPal, Tesla, Nvidia, Snapchat, Nike. Yeah, just go and have a look in the recordings. I've broken them all down. So very volatile market. No worries at all. No worries at all. If you go into the recording, so recordings are in the live stream channel. I'll just put the link into our chat. So this is the live streams there. So you can see all of our recordings there. They're all on YouTube too. So if you tune into my YouTube channel, Aussie King .eth, you'll see my recordings there. All right, with that out of the way, team, I will let you guys proceed and enjoy your day, night, evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are in the world. And as always, thank you for tuning in. I hope this macro cleared up a little bit of uncertainty into into our heads. It's really easy to just get sucked up into FUD on the timelines and whatnot. So keep your eyes on the prize. We're not there yet. And take care. I'll see you guys on another live another time. Ciao.